Well, hello, welcome to Motivational Monday. I've got quite a philosophical one for you today, and I think it's going to resonate with a lot of you guys. So basically, as you've seen from the title of the video, are you somebody that feels as though you don't always fit in to certain cohorts of people or general life because you feel like you're a bit of an outsider? The way that you think is different, the way that you feel is different. Well, let me tell you a secret. There are so many of us that feel like that, and there is such a reason, and it's generally if you're on your spiritual path. Now, below this video, I'm going to link a video by, well, it's not by Wayne Dyer, but there's lots of Wayne Dyer quotes on there. And I've told you before, he's one of my favourites. He's the one that says when you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change. And just take a minute for that to soak in, because he's got a couple of his stories. And one of them is about the wake behind a boat, and he tells it brilliantly. I'm not so sure I could do it any justice to tell you that story, but I do want you to understand that the way that you feel is the way that you feel. And sometimes there are people out there in the world. Let me give you an example. On Twitter, it's such a place, a social media place, in case you don't know, but I'm sure you do, that a lot of writers sit and reside. Now, I find it's really political on there, and it can be really aggy and negative. That is not my vibe at all. I don't like it. I don't like hearing the world being like that. So I choose to kind of try and stay away from that as best as I can. And I feel that there are so many people. Am I looking at the wrong place? Where are you today? No, you are here. Yes, you are. There are so many of you who are like me, and that you're very empathetic kind of people. And, you know, you jog along in life thinking, oh, why don't they get this? Why don't they get that? There are so many different types of humans. Obviously, I'm stating the obvious, but generally it might mean that you're on your spiritual path. Now, Wayne Dyer told a couple of stories that really resonated with me. Actually, there was 3 that I'm going to speak to you about here. One, very quickly, is about resentment. Now, he says, and the audience was completely shocked, you do not die of a snake bite. And if you think about it, the snake bites you. Once he's bit you, you can't be unbitten. You've been bitten, and that's that. That thing, whatever that thing is, has happened. So we're using this metaphorically, okay? So the bite isn't what stings you, kills you. It's the venom that goes up and goes around and around and around and around in your body. You know where I'm going with this, right? So it's not the thing that happened to you. It's how you keep going over it and over it and over it. And you can choose to leave it and park it somewhere. I wrote in a book, and it was taken very, very well, that scars don't always heal completely. And I still will stand by that. But I don't believe that you need to allow that thing to fester. You know, there's the story that I'm going to say, let me try and get that out in 2021, but there's a lot of writing got to go into it, so I don't know. A story will be coming out soon, and it's called Happiness in Vitro. In this story, you would be forgiven, and I'm going to have to write it so that it is quite shocking. You would be forgiven for going like, oh my God, how is she not so bitter? And I'm really actually not. This is the truth. But there is a little scar there that's expecting the same thing again. But the bitterness isn't there, because I can see the gratitude in whatever that thing is. When something bad happens, you can always find some gratitude in it or some lesson. And I know that sounds cheesy and corny, but actually that is what you've got to do. Because otherwise you're going to build up all these resentments and end up as that grumpy old man or old lady that's there going like, I didn't live this in my life and I didn't live that, which takes me nicely on to the next part that Wayne says, and I'm such a fan of his. He really is one of my favourite kind of guru people. I don't know if he'd like me saying that, that he's a guru, but he's a guru. But the next one, he says, don't die with your music still in you. And he actually said, when I die, I know that my music wasn't still in me. I shared it with the world, and he has passed away now, bless him. Which is a real loss for us lot, but obviously he lived his purpose. He was a great writer. He wrote a lot of books. And he said, you know, when he was sitting there writing, that was his music coming out. So if you're the person that wants to write the book or sing the song or travel to a place, or I don't know, help out in a soup kitchen, there's something there that's a burning desire inside of you, and do not keep that inside of you forever. You know, you might need to do this to pay the bills, to whatever, but don't let your life be all about that. You know, you've got that passion that you've got to share, and I am standing in testament to that, because I have felt so much happier in me since I stand up and say I'm a writer. You know I do all this YouTube thing and I do lots of other things, but that is my passion, because I've got so many stories that, like I say, sound horrific, but from it you can go, actually, you know, this was okay, and I want future generations to learn from that. By the way, if you are somebody that wants to write and you want to share a little bit about your experience, I am still calling for submissions. I need to chase that up and give it some more time. But I've got a handful of people that are writing for me for book 2 about how they felt in lockdown. If you want to contribute to that, don't have to be the world's best writer. Do let me know in the comments below, or email me, because my email's down there as well. So definitely don't die with the music still in you. I love that kind of, it's not a proverb, but I don't know what you'd call it. And the other thing was about this wake on the boat. He said you can stand at the back of a boat. Imagine the boat is your life, okay? And it's going in that direction, this boat. You're standing at the back and you're looking down into the water. And what can you see? You can see a wake. And what is the wake? The wake is basically, the boat is driving the force to make the wake happen. And then the wake is just a trail of what's left behind on this journey with the life and the boat and everything going forwards. So when you look down and look at this wake, could that possibly drive the boat forwards? No, it couldn't. All it is something that's left behind. And that's what life is, you know. We're going in this direction. Some of it was going to be left behind is bad. Some's going to be left behind is good. But nevertheless, we're going to leave that behind anyway while we're still going that way. It's no good keep standing there looking at that, hoping that that's the thing for going there. It's not. That's not the driving force, and it can't be. So these things were so like, wow. And I just thought, got to share it with you Monday people, because I know you love this stuff. So a break today from Vlogmas, but of course we will be back tomorrow with more. So I hope you're enjoying those little historic parts of Vlogmas. And oh my God, I laughed this morning when I looked at the very first video ever that I created, which was in the car, and I didn't have the camera angle right, and it was really dark, and I was just like, I'm going to put this out anyway. And I loved that about me, actually. That was like, it doesn't all have to be perfect, you know. Don't have to have your flowers and your candle and your book and your dog snoring and the light. This is not perfect. Look at that light, not there. But you're getting my point, aren't you? And I think that there's so much work that can be done on yourself and on your inner. And when you are there or thereabouts, you then sometimes feel for a little while like you don't really fit in the world. But stay there. Don't adjust that core, that spirit, that soul that's in you. Don't adjust it, because trust me, I've seen this year with somebody who I know is going to be watching this video. Your team, what do you call them? Your clan, your tribe, they will come. They will come to you with your new you. So if you've gone through something like I did, I need to tell you that story in detail on this channel. I went through this thing, oh my God, this day, and now suddenly, everything I know is wrong. I went through that, and trust me, it's been like this really up and down since, but my tribe is coming. The people around me are the right people around me. I've upset a load of people on the way. Jog on, because you're the ones that want to sit there on Twitter going, yeah. That's not for me. And it will take a period of adjustment. So if you're feeling like you don't belong, or you don't, you're an outsider, or you're a weirdo, and you know what, we've got to look at things like The Secret and just general knowledge of the law of attraction and positivity mindset, motivation and inspiration. People wouldn't really have talked about those things years ago because it was seen so out there. You think about Martin Luther King, okay, and I mean, I don't even need to quote that, do I? Everybody knows that speech and how a crazy new it was back then. I think wasn't it in the 60s? And the people that were standing there going, yay, were either generally the black people who he was kind of like largely speaking up for, I guess, and also the kind of hippie people. But now everybody is allowed to think a little bit outside the box. Everybody's allowed to be a little bit out there with the whole law of attraction thing. You know, it's common knowledge now. When I learned it, I was like, why doesn't everybody know this? So I started this channel, And then I realised so many people do know this. I was just late to the party and nobody ever told me. Thank you, Barbara, you did. She's probably watching too. And I just feel as though I owe so much of my life to that knowledge and knowing that, even though it's been a rocky path, because I am now standing in my own skin, the same as Martin Luther King did, saying, you know, it doesn't matter if it's about your colour or your dream or your, oh my God, I'm feeling so passionate about this today. I really actually am. You know, to stand up and say, I suppose in a way it's like coming out or something like that, but not necessarily just, I'm not talking about gay people, but we use that term with gay people who've been somewhere that they thought, I should be this and I'm not allowed to say I'm that. That's, you can apply that to anything. You know, me standing up going, I'm a writer, I felt a bit like, oh, well really, I want to be a writer, or I'm trying to be a writer, or there was all that coming out. No, Lou, go, I'm a writer because this is what I want to do. This is what I wanted to do when I just picked up a pencil for the first time. I used to write really long letters to grandparents and embarrassingly even boyfriends, which I didn't know when I was a teenager that that's not what you do. But it just, now I can say it, you know, and to be a bloody well bestseller, thank you 2020. I'm looking forward to doing the last Motivational Monday of this year. Now my nose is fizzing, which makes me want to feel like I'm going to cry. This year, I was talking to Jasmine about it yesterday. I need to wrap this video up, it's too long. This year, I feel as though there's going to be people who are going to say, I was so bored this year. Nothing happened in 2020. And they're going to look back on that as that year. Or was you one of them, like me, who thought, right, perfect opportunity for me. Obviously, I write health. So, you know, flipping virology had to come in, people had to come in, made this best-selling book, dream come true. Then we're like, right, we're going to renovate the house now. Are the builders here? Can we get the stuff in? You know, I've still got a few little snags I'm looking at, but so what? We've done it, you know, we've made this year count. And all those people who were sitting there saying, oh, wasn't it boring? We just watched telly and then we ran out of telly because I think, didn't they stop recording some stuff or soap operas and things? I don't know because I don't watch those. But, you know, and people are like, what can I do? There's always so much to do. You know, you could sit and look somewhere and just be with your thoughts. There's always so much to do. So if you're that person that's really grabbed it, it's not been easy, I'm not saying that. Crikey, haven't we had some challenges in 2020? But, you know, are you that person? I'll do that in the end, in the last Monday video of the year, but just be proud of yourself if you are. And if that makes you feel like a bit of an outsider because you're not that person, you know, probably 80% of people on Facebook were going, I'm bored. And I'm like, oh, stop being bored, do something. And there's so much to do. Anyway, so if you're that person that feels like, oh, I don't belong in that 80%, then good for you. Stand up and be counted. Be authentically you. Live the dream that you want to live and do not die with the music still in you. I'll see you next time.